The sun rises slowly over the deserts of Turkmenistan, painting the endless horizon with shades of deep red and soft gold. Cool air covers the land, but warm winds soon follow, carrying grains of sand that dance like sparks across the morning sky. In villages, the call of roosters echoes between clay houses, joined by the bleating of goats and the soft bells tied to sheep. In the capital, Ashgabat, the streets stay quiet at dawn, filled only with distant voices and the shuffle of early footsteps. The morning always begins with tea. In nearly every Turkmen home, a kettle whistles on the stove, and steam rises into the air. Green tea is the most common, poured into small glasses, while black tea is served for those who prefer its strength. Tea is not only a drink here, it is a part of life. A warm glass shared at sunrise carries comfort, respect, and tradition. Sometimes sugar sweetens the taste, and dried fruit or sweets are placed nearby for everyone to enjoy together. Breakfast in Turkmenistan is usually simple, but deeply meaningful. Freshly baked chorek, a round golden bread, always takes the center of the table. Families treat bread with great respect, never wasting it, for to them it is not only food, but also blessing. Alongside bread, eggs may be fried quickly, yogurt poured into bowls, or porridge prepared for strength. In summer, melons and grapes brighten the table. Even the humblest breakfast feels rich when shared with love, for the taste of family makes everything complete. Mothers are the first to rise, moving softly so the house does not wake too soon. They knead dough, stir pots, and set dishes on the table. Fathers dress for work, polishing shoes, sipping tea, and quietly planning the day's responsibilities. Children rise reluctantly when called, leaving warm blankets behind with sleepy eyes. Some jump eagerly into pressed uniforms, while others delay with slow steps. They wash their faces quickly, comb their hair, and gather at the table, ready for both breakfast and reminders. The reminders are gentle but firm. Parents encourage their children to study well, to respect elders, to work hard, and to be kind to neighbors. These lessons, repeated each morning, are as nourishing as bread and tea, shaping the family's daily rhythm. Inside the home, the smell of hot bread mixes with the aroma of strong tea. The sound of spoons tapping bowls and glasses clinking fills the air. These small details weave together into a song of peace that belongs uniquely to mornings in Turkmenistan. Outside, the neighborhood slowly awakens. Women sweep dust from doorways, men greet one another as they pass on their way to work, and children hurry toward school in neat uniforms. Their voices float across the streets, blending with the cool desert breeze. Mornings in Turkmenistan may appear ordinary, yet they are filled with meaning. They are a time of unity, when families begin the day together, carrying strength from simple rituals. In every sunrise there is tradition, hope, and the quiet beauty of daily life. In Turkmenistan, family is not just a group of people living together, it is the very foundation of life. Homes often include grandparents, parents, and children under the same roof, where love, support, and duty hold everyone together each day. Respect for elders is one of the strongest values in Turkmen culture. Children are taught from their earliest years to greet grandparents warmly, listen carefully when they speak, and follow their guidance. Elders are honored as sources of wisdom and blessing. Grandparents act as the guardians of tradition. They tell folk tales and poems passed down through generations, reminding children of the nation's proud history. In the evenings, Families gather to listen, keeping stories alive while strengthening bonds across every generation. Meals are powerful moments of connection in Turkmen households. Families may eat breakfast quickly, but dinner is always shared. At the center of the table stands a large plate of plov or freshly baked chorek, while conversations and laughter bring warmth. Parents use these meals as opportunities to guide their children. Fathers speak of honesty and responsibility, reminding sons about courage and strength. Mothers often teach lessons of patience and respect, encouraging kindness and generosity toward neighbors, relatives, and even strangers in need. Children in Turkmen families do not grow up without responsibility. In villages, they help herd sheep, milk goats, or fetch water. In towns, they may sweep floors, help younger siblings, or run errands. These small tasks teach discipline, duty, and cooperation. Family gatherings mark the most joyful times of the year. Weddings overflow with music, dance, and colorful traditional clothes. Relatives travel from far away to attend. Births bring equal happiness, while seasonal holidays unite households and entire communities in heartfelt celebration. At such gatherings, grandmothers prepare special dishes filled with rich aromas of lamb, rice, and herbs. Grandfathers recite poetry or tell stories, while cousins chase one another in courtyards. Every moment becomes a memory, treasured and retold through generations with pride. Families also stand together in difficult times. When illness strikes or money runs short, relatives arrive with food, financial help, or comforting words. This support provides reassurance that no one is alone, and unity is the family's greatest protection against hardship. Homes themselves reflect this sense of closeness. Carpets woven with bright patterns cover floors, symbolizing tradition. Photographs of ancestors hang proudly on walls. The sounds of shared meals, laughter, and conversation fill the air, creating a rhythm that feels safe and everlasting. Even as modern life brings television, internet, and new lifestyles, family remains central to Turkmen identity. Children may dream of studying abroad, but the voice of tradition always calls them back, reminding them that respect for elders defines true success. To live within a Turkmen family is to experience love, respect, and responsibility woven into daily life. Every story told, every meal shared, and every gathering celebrated builds unity. Through this, traditions survive and values are passed proudly into the future. In Turkmenistan, food is more than daily nourishment. It is the heart of family life and community spirit. Every gathering, whether small or large, revolves around a meal, where kindness is shared and memories are created around steaming dishes. Bread known as chorek holds a sacred place in Turkmen households. Round and golden, baked in clay ovens, it is never wasted or thrown away. People treat bread with deep respect, seeing it as both blessing and symbol of life. The staples of Turkmen cuisine are simple yet filling. Rice, meat, especially lamb, and vegetables make up most meals. Fresh herbs, onions, and carrots are often added, giving food both color and flavor. Every dish reflects tradition and the land's natural produce. Among the most loved dishes is plov, a fragrant rice cooked with carrots and tender pieces of lamb, often served at family gatherings. Shurpa, a rich soup of meat and vegetables, warms the body, while manti, soft dumplings, comfort the heart. Meals are often shared around a low table, sometimes while sitting cross-legged on floor mats. Plates are placed at the center, and everyone reaches together. This style of dining encourages closeness, conversation, and the feeling that food binds people tightly together. Tea is always present, poured into small cups with warmth and respect. A guest is never left without tea, which is offered both before and after meals. The act of pouring tea carries meaning, showing care, welcome, and heartfelt generosity. Hospitality is one of the deepest cultural values in Turkmenistan. Guests are treated with the highest honor, often given the best seat and first serving of food. To welcome someone into the home is to open both heart and soul. Even strangers passing through villages may be invited to share tea and bread. It is believed that turning away a guest is dishonorable. Instead, generosity brings blessing, and families take pride in serving visitors more than they keep for themselves. During celebrations, hospitality shines most brightly. Long tables overflow with plov, sweets, fresh fruits, and bread. Neighbors and relatives gather, and laughter fills the air. Every dish carries love, while sharing food becomes a symbol of unity, friendship, and trust. Food in Turkmenistan is never just about taste. It is about love between parents and children, respect for ancestors, and kindness toward guests. Each meal tells a story of tradition, sacrifice, and togetherness, passed carefully from one generation to the next. To sit at a Turkmen table is to feel warmth beyond hunger. The bread, the tea, and the generous hand serving food remind every guest that they are valued. Here, hospitality is not a choice, but a way of life. In Turkmenistan, mornings for children begin with the sound of alarms before sunrise, as schools often start early. Students put on clean uniforms decorated with national symbols, a reminder that education is both personal achievement and pride for the nation. Inside classrooms, children study a variety of subjects, from mathematics and science to literature and history. Teachers encourage discipline and respect, while students write neatly in notebooks, understanding that each lesson is a small step toward their future success. Turkmen history is taught with care, giving children stories of bravery, resilience, and national pride. Lessons remind students of their cultural roots, helping them understand how their ancestors shaped the land they live on and the traditions they continue. Poetry holds a special place in education, especially the works of Magtim Guli, the national poet. Children memorize verses filled with wisdom and emotion, reciting them in classrooms or competitions, keeping alive the poetic spirit deeply rooted in Turkmen identity. Although resources in schools can sometimes be limited, education remains highly valued. Families see learning as a bridge to opportunity, believing that knowledge will help their children build better lives, whether in cities, villages, or professional careers across the country. After school, children run outdoors to play traditional games. They chase one another, laugh in open fields, and sometimes compete in simple sports. These activities not only bring joy but also strengthen friendships, teamwork, and the playful spirit of youth. In classrooms, girls and boys sit side by side, sharing the same subjects and opportunities. Yet, in some rural areas, challenges remain. Distance, resources, and traditions can affect attendance. Still, many families work hard to support their daughters' education proudly. Dreams grow with each lesson as children imagine their futures. Some hope to become doctors, healing the sick, while others dream of engineering great projects or teaching new generations. Government work is also seen as honorable, carrying respect and responsibility. Homework often fills evenings, with children bent over desks while parents watch proudly. Mothers may help with reading, and fathers encourage discipline. Families view these small efforts as investments, believing every page studied brings their children closer to opportunity. School events and ceremonies are moments of celebration. Students march proudly with flags, recite poems, or perform dances in traditional dress. These activities connect learning with culture, reminding families that education is not only knowledge, but also identity and pride. Children in Turkmenistan grow with both hope and responsibility. They balance study, family duties, and play while carrying dreams larger than themselves. In their laughter, hard work, and endless imagination, the future of the nation quietly takes shape each day. The streets of Turkmenistan begin to stir early in the morning when the first light touches the desert horizon. Small local shops open their doors displaying stacks of bread, baskets of fruits, vegetables, and trays of colorful homemade sweets. As the day brightens, open-air bazaars quickly become alive with movement and sound. Vendors call out to customers, children weave through the crowds, and carts loaded with goods create a picture of energy and tradition blended together. The air itself feels full of flavor. The smell of fresh melons drifts through narrow alleys, mixing with the sharpness of spices and the comforting warmth of bread taken straight from clay ovens, making every step an experience. In these markets, greetings are exchanged more than money. Neighbors shake hands warmly, ask about each other's families, and share small jokes. The bazaar is not only for buying food, but also for keeping friendships alive and strong. Bargaining is part of the daily rhythm. A customer offers a price with a smile, while a vendor counters with another, both enjoying the playful back and forth. Negotiation is less about money and more about conversation, trust, and shared understanding. The markets proudly display traditional treasures. Turkmen carpets with detailed patterns hang in long rows, while silk scarves shimmer under the sunlight. Stalls of silver jewelry sparkle, and everywhere melons sit piled high, considered among the sweetest in the world. Children follow their mothers, eyes wide with wonder at the colors, sounds, and smells. Sometimes they are given a small sweet by a kind shopkeeper, learning from these moments that markets are places of generosity as much as commerce. Older men often gather near tea stalls, sipping from small cups and discussing local news. The market is their meeting hall, where they share gossip, debate events, and enjoy the simple comfort of each other's company. For many families, the bazaar is a weekly tradition. Fathers carry heavy bags, mothers select fresh vegetables, and grandparents search for the best bread. Together, they turn shopping into a family outing filled with laughter and small memories. During festive seasons, markets transform into even brighter worlds. Stalls overflow with sweets, colorful clothes, and gifts. Music plays in the background, children run with excitement, and the entire community gathers, turning ordinary trade into a celebration of culture. In Turkmenistan, markets are the beating heart of daily life. Beyond the goods bought or sold, they are places where people connect, stories are shared, and traditions live on, carried by the warm voices and open hands of the community. In Turkmenistan, the rhythm of daily life often begins with women whose hands prepare breakfast before sunrise and whose voices gently guide children awake. They manage homes with quiet strength, balancing countless responsibilities with patience and an enduring sense of love. Women are not only keepers of the household, but also active contributors to the nation's workforce. Many teach in schools, healing minds through education, while others work as doctors, nurses, and shopkeepers, holding vital roles in their communities. Their skill with traditional crafts is admired everywhere. Women sit together weaving carpets, their fingers moving swiftly across threads of red, blue, and gold. Each pattern holds meaning, carrying stories of ancestors and passing heritage from one generation to the next. In rural villages, women work close to the land. They guide herds of goats, milk cows, or gather vegetables from small gardens. Farming and livestock care are part of their daily lives, blending hard physical effort with unshakable resilience. The clothes women wear shine with cultural identity. Traditional dresses are long, flowing, and rich with embroidery that tells silent stories. Bright colors reflect the spirit of Turkmen culture, and the dresses are worn proudly for festivals, gatherings, or everyday life. Balancing home duties with outside responsibilities requires discipline and strength. A woman may rise early to bake bread, then walk to work at a clinic or school, later returning to cook dinner, help children study, and finish evening house chores. Respect for women runs deep in Turkmen traditions. They are seen as guardians of family honor and cultural continuity. Elders, especially grandmothers, are treated with great reverence, as their words are considered wisdom that guides younger family members forward. Even in modern times, traditions remain alive. Young girls often learn embroidery from their mothers, while teenage daughters help in kitchens and fields. These small daily lessons prepare them to carry forward the responsibilities of both home and community. In urban areas, women lead active professional lives, yet family always remains at the center of their identity. No matter how busy their schedules, they strive to maintain warmth at home, ensuring love and care surround their children. Celebrations highlight women's central role. At weddings, mothers prepare feasts and oversee ceremonies, while their colorful dresses add beauty to the occasion. Guests admire their efforts, recognizing how women's work ensures both tradition and family joy remain alive. In Turkmenistan, women embody strength, creativity, and devotion. Whether in classrooms, fields, or homes, their influence reaches every corner of society. They balance work and tradition, ensuring culture survives while nurturing the next generation with wisdom and unconditional care. In Turkmenistan, the most joyful celebration of the year is Nowruz, the spring festival and Persian New Year. When the cold winter finally fades, people prepare eagerly, believing the season brings hope, fresh beginnings, and renewed life everywhere. Before Nowruz begins, families dedicate time to cleaning their homes. Windows are washed until they shine, rugs are beaten under the sun, and furniture is carefully polished. Every corner of the house must feel pure for the coming year. Baking plays an important role during preparations. Mothers and daughters gather in warm kitchens, kneading dough for chorek bread. The aroma of hot bread fills the air, carrying memories of tradition and the promise of shared family meals. Markets in Turkmenistan are more than just places to buy food. They are alive with voices, colors, and scents. In the evening, before families gather for tea, some visit these markets, filling baskets with bread, fruits, spices, and fresh vegetables. The air in the market carries the smell of melons, freshly baked chorek, and sometimes roasted meat. Sellers call out prices with friendly voices, while women bargain politely. These conversations show respect and humor, proving that trade is also about relationships. Children often follow their parents, holding hands or helping to carry bags. For them, the market feels like an adventure, filled with sights and noises. Their eyes grow wide when they see sweets, nuts, or small toys displayed on tables. In rural towns, markets are held weekly. Farmers bring products from their land: grapes, onions, flour, and milk. They sit proudly behind simple wooden stalls, greeting neighbors warmly. Buying directly from them feels like supporting family, not just exchanging coins for food. Every purchase becomes more than just shopping. People ask about each other's health, share news of weddings or travel, and even exchange advice. These small conversations fill lives with connection, proving how commerce and community are linked in daily life. During holidays, the markets grow busier, shining with colorful fabrics, bright scarves, and embroidered caps. People prepare for celebrations by buying gifts, sweets, and new clothes. The atmosphere becomes louder, but joy fills the air, turning ordinary markets into festive gatherings. Food sellers often give samples of dried fruits or fresh bread. This simple generosity reminds visitors of the Turkmen value of hospitality. Even in business, kindness is shown, and children learn from these gestures how respect is tied to culture. As dusk falls, some markets stay open under small lamps. The golden light falls across baskets of apples and piles of rice. Family hurry to finish their shopping, eager to return home, where warm meals and tea already wait. The market journey becomes part of the evening story. When families gather around the table, the food on their plates carries the memory of friendly exchanges, laughter, and kindness. It is not only nourishment, but also a reminder of community life. Markets, like prayers and traditions, are woven into the rhythm of daily existence. They bring people together, strengthen relationships, and remind everyone that even ordinary routines can hold meaning, joy, and unity in the land of Turkmenistan. Cooking special dishes is also essential. Large pots of pahlav simmer slowly, rich with rice, lamb, and golden carrots. Sweet pastries are carefully prepared, while trays of nuts and dried fruits are arranged for guests who will soon arrive. New clothes mark the celebration, symbolizing fresh beginnings. Men wear clean white shirts or traditional long robes, while women choose colorful embroidered dresses. Children, excited and playful, often receive bright outfits that make them feel proud and joyful. Family visits are central during Nowruz. Relatives and neighbors greet each other with warm hugs, bringing small gifts such as fruits, sweets, or handmade items. Hospitality is shown with endless cups of tea and dishes served generously to every guest. Tables shine with variety during Nowruz meals. Alongside plov, families serve sweet halva, honey cakes, and traditional pastries. Everyone eats together, laughing and sharing stories, knowing food is not only nourishment, but also a bond that strengthens unity. Celebrations also fill public squares and open fields. Traditional dances begin with the sound of drums and pipes, while men and women join circles, moving rhythmically. Horse shows highlight Turkmen pride, displaying speed, skill, and the beauty of Akhal Teke horses. During Nowruz, children run excitedly from house to house, carrying little baskets for sweets, nuts, and sometimes dried fruits, given by neighbors as symbols of good fortune. Their laughter fills the streets, creating an atmosphere of joy that connects everyone. Elders tell stories about the meaning of spring, renewal, and the connection between people and nature. Around fire pits, families jump over small flames, believing it helps wash away misfortune, leaving only health, happiness, and strength for the new year. Markets become even busier before Nowruz, with stalls decorated in bright fabrics and filled with nuts, raisins, and colorful spices. Women proudly display embroidered dresses, while men choose traditional hats, each item reflecting heritage passed carefully through generations. Musicians fill the air with the sounds of the dutar, a long-necked lute, while singers recite verses of Magtim Guli, reminding listeners of identity and history. These songs are not only entertainment, but lessons, teaching unity, courage, and respect for tradition. Horse races, known for Turkmen pride, draw crowds who cheer loudly for skilled riders. The animals, decorated with colorful cloth and shining harnesses, gallop across open fields, symbolizing strength and freedom deeply valued by people of Turkmenistan for centuries. Women gather in kitchens, preparing trays of pastries with honey, nuts, and dried apricots. The scent of fresh bread and plov drifts through neighborhoods, mixing with the sound of greetings as relatives arrive, bringing gifts wrapped in bright patterned cloth. After meals, neighbors sit together sipping green tea, laughing, and recalling past celebrations. Stories of childhood and memories of ancestors are shared, reminding everyone that festivals are not only about food and music, but also about continuity of family bonds. Children play traditional games in courtyards, running and shouting as adults watch with smiles. The games teach teamwork, patience, and cleverness. These small lessons, hidden in play, become part of the values children carry into adulthood. At night, streets glow with lanterns and fires lit outside homes. Groups gather to dance under the stars, their shadows moving with the rhythm of drums. This mixture of firelight, music, and laughter captures the spirit of renewal completely. For many families, Nowruz is not only a festival, but also a chance to forgive old conflicts and start fresh. Handshakes, hugs, and shared meals erase hard feelings, allowing people to enter spring with open hearts and stronger unity. Hospitality shines brightest during celebrations. Even strangers visiting a village are welcomed with bread, tea, and sometimes small gifts. The belief that a guest brings blessings is deeply felt, making festivals times of generosity, trust, and open doors. The joy of Nowruz spreads beyond families to the entire community. Schools and cultural centers organize plays, poetry readings, and dance performances by children. Parents watch proudly, clapping and smiling, seeing the younger generation carry traditions forward with energy and love. In rural areas, shepherds mark the festival by decorating their flocks with ribbons, letting them roam freely across green pastures. This act celebrates the arrival of spring's abundance, showing gratitude for nature's cycle and the promise of prosperity ahead. Villagers often gather in large fields, spreading mats on the grass and enjoying communal meals. Each family contributes something, whether bread, fruit, or a cooked dish. The shared table represents unity, reminding everyone that strength comes from togetherness, not isolation. The symbolism of Nowruz continues through small rituals, placing 7 symbolic items on tables, each representing life, health, love, or prosperity. These displays connect households, showing that hopes and prayers are shared among all families in Turkmenistan equally. Though modern life changes quickly, these traditions remain constant, anchoring people to their past while offering hope for the future. Celebrations like Nowruz remind Turkmen families that identity is preserved not in words, but in shared customs and moments. When the festival ends, homes are quieter, but hearts remain full. Families return to daily routines, yet the spirit of unity and renewal lingers. It becomes a reminder that beyond challenges, life continues with hope, strength, and dignity. Music is an inseparable part of Nowruz. Folk songs are sung with deep emotion, some remembering history, others celebrating love or nature. Instruments like the dutar create melodies that connect generations, reminding people of the roots of their culture. The emotional meaning of Nowruz is powerful. It represents renewal after difficulty, unity after distance, and hope after hardship. Families gather with the belief that the year ahead will bring peace, prosperity, and happiness for loved ones and neighbors. In Turkmenistan, traditions are not only about celebration, but about carrying identity forward. Through food, music, clothing, and rituals, people strengthen their connection to ancestors while creating joyful memories that children will someday pass to future generations. When the hot sun slowly disappears behind the wide Turkmen desert, the evenings finally bring a breath of cool air. After a long day of work, the soft winds make the streets calmer and life slows down peacefully. Families usually gather around the table after dinner, where tea and freshly baked bread are shared. The smell of warm chorek fills the room, while cups of green or black tea are poured again and again. Simple activities follow the meal as families spend time together. Storytelling is very common, where elders share old folk tales, while children listen with wide eyes. Sometimes the television plays quietly, or soft traditional music fills the room. In smaller villages, evenings often happen outdoors. Neighbors bring chairs or carpets outside their houses, sitting together under the open desert sky. They talk about farming, news, or family matters, while children play until stars begin to shine. As darkness spreads slowly across the desert sky, evenings in Turkmenistan take on a rhythm that feels almost timeless. The air cools after the heat of the day, and the soft winds carry the distant sounds of animals settling for the night. Children finish their last games before being called inside, their laughter fading into the stillness of the evening. Lanterns or dim electric lights glow faintly from windows, giving each house the appearance of a safe and welcoming shelter after a day of labor and dust. Families often gather again outdoors, not for chores or meals, but simply to enjoy the gentle air. Older people may sit on low stools or carpets spread outside the house, sipping tea while recalling stories from their youth. These conversations weave together personal memory and collective history, reminding the younger generation of the endurance of their people. Stories of past struggles and victories mix with lighter tales of mischief. Village weddings or seasonal harvests, creating a balance between nostalgia and joy. Sometimes the evenings become a stage for music. Someone may bring out a dutar, the two-stringed instrument, and begin to play melodies that seem to rise naturally with the desert breeze. Neighbors draw closer, listening in silence or quietly humming along. Music, in these moments, feels less like entertainment and more like a thread that binds people together, stretching back to ancestors who once gathered around fires beneath the same wide sky. It reminds everyone that joy does not always come from wealth or abundance, but from togetherness and the ability to create beauty from simplicity. Young people often find the evenings a time of courtship and friendship. Groups may gather in quieter corners of the village, sharing secrets, dreams, and laughter. A walk under the stars is both ordinary and magical, where words spoken softly carry meaning that daytime busyness often hides. For many, these conversations under the night sky remain unforgettable memories, shaping relationships that continue into marriage, family life, and lifelong friendships. In this way, evenings become both a bridge between generations and a starting point for new bonds. The stillness of the night is also a moment for reflection. People pause to think about the day's events, their struggles, their achievements, and their hopes for tomorrow. Some may sit alone, quietly sipping tea or gazing at the stars, finding peace in silence. Others whisper prayers of gratitude, asking for strength, health, and protection for their families. The desert, with its vast and open sky, invites these moments of humility, where individuals feel both small and deeply connected to the world around them. In the city, evenings may look slightly different. Cafes and small tea houses remain open late, filled with groups of friends or workers who gather after long hours. Street vendors sell roasted nuts, kebabs, or sweet pastries to passers-by, adding the fragrance of food to the cool night air. Children ride bicycles on quieter streets, while teenagers sit together, sharing music from their phones or simply laughing at jokes. The calm after the daytime rush offers everyone a chance to breathe, slow down, and appreciate simple pleasures before returning home. For travelers and visitors, the evenings in Turkmenistan leave lasting impressions. They notice the hospitality offered even late at night, the way neighbors greet them warmly, or the sight of families sitting outside together. Many remark that the evenings show the soul of Turkmen daily life more than the busy daylight hours. They reveal the importance of connection, storytelling, and reflection, which remain at the heart of community living. In these quiet hours, one sees not only the beauty of the landscape, but also the strength of human ties. Thus, evenings are not only the end of a day, but also a time of renewal. They hold the calm of the desert, the warmth of family, the depth of tradition, and the spark of hope for tomorrow. Whether through laughter, stories, music, prayer, or silent reflection, evenings allow life in Turkmenistan to pause, breathe, and continue with strength. These hours may pass quietly, but they shape the rhythm of life, leaving memories that stay with people long after the night has passed. Evening prayers are an important part of life for many families. Some gather together to pray, while others take quiet moments of reflection. These peaceful minutes bring a sense of closeness to faith and calmness before the night deepens. Children use evenings to complete their homework, often with help from older siblings or parents. The sound of pencils scratching paper mixes with the smell of tea as children try to finish lessons before they go to sleep. The night sky above Turkmenistan becomes full of stars, clear and endless. Families sometimes sit silently, watching the heavens, feeling the vastness of the desert. In those quiet moments, people reflect on life with a sense of gratitude. The desert night often creates its own stories. When the air cools and the winds settle, families gather outside with lanterns or small fires. The golden light flickers across faces, and voices rise gently, weaving together tales of past generations. Grandparents often begin the storytelling, speaking slowly so every word carries weight. They share legends of heroes who traveled across deserts, women who guarded their families with strength, and horses that carried men with unmatched loyalty. Children listen silently imagining every detail. Sometimes the stories are not legends, but real memories. An elder might recall how villages survived harsh winters, how neighbors shared food when little was left, or how weddings brought entire communities together for days of endless dancing and laughter. Young people add their own voices too, describing daily struggles of study, work, and friendship. Their words are more modern, but still hold the same meaning of survival, love, and belonging. These exchanges show how generations connect through the rhythm of evening gatherings. Music often follows the stories. Someone brings out a duta, plucking strings carefully, while others hum along. Old songs carry messages of courage, love, and homeland. In these moments, music blends with the desert air, becoming part of the night itself. Children often mimic the songs with claps or soft whistles. Their playful sounds mix with the serious tunes of the elders, creating a harmony between innocence and wisdom. This playful joining reminds everyone that culture survives when young hearts embrace it naturally. Some nights include quiet games played under starlight. Boys race each other across the sand, their feet leaving temporary prints, while girls draw patterns on the ground with sticks, making shapes of flowers or stars. Laughter echoes across the still desert air. When conversations pause, people look upward. The Turkmen sky, endless and filled with countless stars, always inspires reflection. Under this wide roof of glittering light, worries often feel small, and gratitude grows strong within the hearts of families and neighbors. Sometimes, silence itself becomes the evening's greatest gift. Families sit together without words, sipping tea, breathing the cool air, and simply enjoying each other's presence. These moments teach the beauty of companionship without constant noise or distraction, reminding people of deeper connections. As the night deepens, younger children fall asleep on carpets spread outside, their heads resting on pillows brought from home. Parents carry them inside gently, while conversations grow softer, and slowly the night returns to quietness before dawn comes again. Some evenings are more lively when relatives or neighbors come to visit. Conversations stretch late into the night, tea is served many times, and laughter fills the house. These gatherings keep friendship strong and create memories that last forever. For children, evenings also carry excitement. They whisper secrets to friends, play small games indoors, or listen to bedtime stories from parents. These gentle routines comfort them, teaching family values and preparing them for dreams through the night. At the end of the day, there is a shared calmness across homes and villages. No matter how busy the hours before, evenings bring families together, creating peace, gratitude, and a quiet strength to welcome the next morning. When night fully embraces the land, Turkmenistan changes once again. The quiet of the desert deepens, yet life inside homes often continues warmly. Lamps glow softly in windows, spreading a golden light across courtyards and narrow village streets. Families gather for a final cup of tea before bedtime, and children climb into their beds while elders linger a little longer, exchanging gentle words. The silence outside is filled only by natural sounds. In rural areas, the call of night birds drifts across the fields, while the bleating of sheep or the distant bark of a dog echoes under the stars. The desert wind moves lightly, carrying with it the coolness that contrasts so strongly with the heat of the day. For many people, this calm air feels almost like a blessing, allowing them to release the burdens of work. In villages, neighbors sometimes continue conversations outside late into the night. They sit on benches, steps, or woven mats, sipping tea and recalling stories from earlier years. The laughter is quieter than during the day, but it carries far in the still air a reminder of the close ties that unite families and neighbors. In the city, nights are more lively. Cafes remain open where young people gather, talking, playing music, or enjoying sweets. Couples stroll along wide boulevards, and friends sit in groups near fountains or in shaded courtyards, escaping the heat that lingers even after sunset. Bright lights reflect on modern buildings, showing a different face of Turkmenistan, one that blends tradition with present-day rhythms. Nighttime also brings reflection for many. Some write in notebooks or read quietly under lamplight. Others pray in silence, asking for guidance and strength for the next day. These moments of thought and faith, though unseen by others, form an important part of life, reminding people of their inner strength and their connection to God and family. Children, however, often resist sleep. They beg for one more story or sneak into the kitchen for a late piece of bread. Parents smile at their small tricks, remembering their own childhoods when they too wished to stretch the night a little longer. Slowly, calm returns as children finally drift into dreams, sometimes whispering to siblings until their voices fade. In some regions, weddings or community gatherings extend late into the night. Music fills the air with the sound of the dutar and the drum guiding the rhythm of dancers. Guests clap in unison, women's dresses shining in the lamplight, and tables remain heavy with food. Such nights, full of joy and companionship, are remembered for years, becoming part of the stories families tell future generations. The beauty of the Turkmen night lies not only in its peace, but also in its sky. Far from cities, the heavens open like a vast carpet of stars. The Milky Way stretches visibly across the desert, while constellations shine with clarity that amazes even those who see them often. Families sometimes sit quietly just to watch, pointing out shapes to children who learn to recognize Orion, the bear, or the hunter's belt. The stars become like teachers, telling stories of the universe above. Travelers often speak about the desert nights as unforgettable. Without noise, without crowds, the world seems to expand endlessly. The sand cools under the moonlight, and every sound grows sharper. The crunch of footsteps, the rustle of a bush, the whistle of wind. Some compare it to standing in a great temple where silence itself is sacred. Yet even in cities where the stars are dimmer, the night offers its gifts. Cool air drifts through open windows, giving relief after a long, hot day. Street vendors serve late-night snacks, and the smell of roasted seeds or fried dough floats in the air. These small details, unnoticed in daylight, become memories that attach themselves to the calmness of night. At last, deep into the night, silence takes over almost everywhere. Shops close, music fades, and families fall asleep. The streets become empty. The lamps burn steadily, and the land rests. This rhythm, day full of work, evening filled with family, night offering peace, gives strength to the people of Turkmenistan, preparing them to rise again with the dawn. In Turkmenistan, most people follow Islam, and although faith is often quiet and private, it gently shapes the rhythm of life. It is not always loudly expressed, but its influence is deeply present in everyday routines. Prayer holds an important place for many families. Some gather in small groups, while others prefer private moments of devotion at home. The call to prayer may not always be heard, but the inner connection remains strong. Values connected to faith are passed from parents and grandparents to children. Respect for elders is constantly taught, and kindness is encouraged in both words and actions, shaping how families and neighbors interact with one another daily. Hospitality remains one of the strongest values, with faith reminding people that every guest is a blessing. Offering tea, bread, or even a warm smile is considered both tradition and duty, deeply rooted in Turkmen cultural identity. Patience is another guiding principle. Life in the desert can be hard, with weather, farming, and resources sometimes unpredictable. Faith encourages people to endure challenges calmly, believing that every difficulty comes with lessons and eventual relief. Charity is also a meaningful duty, especially during religious occasions. Families share food, clothing, or small gifts with those who have less, teaching children the importance of generosity, compassion, and caring for others within the community. Religious holidays bring a special atmosphere to villages and towns. Eid al-Fitr, after Ramadan, is celebrated with joy as families prepare special meals, exchange greetings, and wear new clothes, filling homes with laughter and heartfelt conversations. Even after the laughter of the day fades, celebrations stretch long into the night. Children run around with sparklers in their hands, leaving bright trails of light against the dark sky, while elders sit watching with quiet smiles and warmth. Food remains at the center of evening gatherings. Plates of fresh fruit, bowls of sweet halva, and endless cups of tea are shared among family and neighbors. People lean back comfortably on cushions, talking about hopes for the coming year. Stories begin to flow, often told by the oldest family members. They speak of past celebrations, times of hardship, and the strength that carried people through. Children listen with wide eyes, learning that traditions are not only joyful, but meaningful. The sounds of instruments continue deep into the night. The dutar plays slow, soulful notes that seem to echo across the quiet desert landscape, while hand drums create a heartbeat rhythm, pulling dancers back to the center of the circle. Neighbors join together outside, lighting small bonfires as symbols of renewal. People gather around flames, throwing dried herbs into the fire and watching sparks rise. Some make quiet wishes, believing the smoke carries prayers upward toward the heavens above. Hospitality does not end when the sun sets. Guests often leave one house only to be welcomed into another, where more food and tea wait. The circle of giving and sharing continues, building connections stronger than simple friendship. Horse riders sometimes return for night performances under the moonlight. The golden coats of the Akhal Teke horses shine faintly in the glow of torches, creating a scene that feels almost magical, blending beauty, strength, and deep national pride together. Laughter is constant during these moments. Men joke loudly, children giggle as they sneak extra sweets, and women share gentle smiles. Even when people are tired, joy seems to push away sleep, reminding everyone why traditions must always be preserved. Before the night ends, families gather for a final meal, often simpler than the daytime feast. Bread is broken and shared by hand, a sacred act that symbolizes unity, respect, and the hope for abundance in every household. As dawn approaches, people slowly return to their homes, exhausted but filled with happiness. The festival lingers in memory long after, reminding everyone that life's true richness is found not in wealth, but in togetherness, generosity, and cherished traditions. Eid al-Adha carries a deeper meaning of sacrifice and sharing. Families who can afford it slaughter an animal, distributing meat not only among relatives, but also among neighbors and the poor, reinforcing unity and responsibility toward others. Faith provides a sense of moral guidance for daily choices. Whether in business, education, or family life, people often remind each other to act honestly, avoid harmful behavior, and live in a way that honors both culture and religion. Community support is also strengthened by faith. When hardship strikes, whether through illness, loss, or poverty, neighbors come together with food, prayers, and emotional comfort, showing how faith unites people with hope, compassion, and shared resilience. Life in Turkmenistan is shaped gently but firmly by family, food, and tradition, forming a rhythm that continues through generations. People find meaning not in grand gestures, but in the small, daily rituals that quietly hold communities together. Bread, tea, and hospitality symbolize far more than basic needs. A shared loaf or a steaming pot of tea carries a sense of love, respect, and belonging, reminding everyone that generosity is at the heart of Turkmen culture. Despite restrictions and challenges that may weigh upon the nation, the people choose to focus on what unites them most. Community bonds, family ties, and respect for traditions provide strength that politics or difficulties cannot easily break. Evenings often capture the essence of this life, when simple joys shine most clearly. Families gather around low tables, sip tea, share bread, and speak with warmth, showing that happiness often hides in small, ordinary daily blessings. Family gatherings remain the soul of life, whether during weddings, holidays, or just an ordinary evening. Laughter fills homes, elders tell stories, and children listen with bright eyes, making these moments as precious as any wealth or achievement. Daily life is not shaped by debates or political headlines, but by the steady rhythm of survival and tradition. People wake, work, share meals, and care for one another, guided by values stronger than any outside pressure. It is in these quiet acts of care that the dignity of Turkmen people is most visible. A neighbor bringing fresh melons, a grandmother weaving a carpet, or a child helping with chores all reveal deep cultural pride. This life reminds the world that ordinary people everywhere live with hope, dignity, and kindness. No matter the nation or background, the desire for love, respect, and connection remains universal, linking humanity beyond borders and differences. Turkmenistan's story is not only about deserts, markets, or traditions, but also about resilience. It shows how people continue with joy and pride, creating meaning through bread, family, faith, and unity, even when life feels uncertain or difficult. In the end, the life of ordinary Turkmen families is a reflection of humanity itself, simple yet beautiful, quiet yet strong. It is a life that teaches patience, gratitude, and the power of love in everyday moments.